I would like to take this opportunity to present to you all a wonderful story. The story that which brings the most perilous feeling of fear into your life. I hope that you're sitting still, that you are very comfortable, and that you are not easily afraid. However, I think that you will be afraid. My wife was outside putting the laundry onto the line as she usually does. I told her I would step inside to check the dinner, and she said she was waiting on her ride to work since her friend and her always carpooled to work. They worked the same schedule, so I rushed into the house and made sure dinner was ready. She finally stepped inside, and we sat down and ate relatively quick, and I asked her what time she was going to be home. She said she would be home at around midnight, since she was only going to be working half a shift. Her friend was going to borrow her car, and she would bring it back the following Monday. This was going to be the weekend, so I said, okay, we can just use my truck. So we ate dinner, and then her and her friend went to work. I'm sitting in the living room watching TV after I got the dishes done, and then at around 10 or so, I decided to lay down and get some rest and just wait on my wife to come in, and eventually she'd be home. As I'm laying there and I'm asleep, I get kind of, you know how sometimes you're half awake, half asleep? I can feel my wife lay down beside me, and so I drift the rest of the way, all the way asleep. The next morning at around 7:30 in the morning, there's a knock at the door, and I asked my wife to get up and answer it, but she doesn't respond. So I go ahead and go to the front door, and I peek through the sight glass, and there's a police officer standing there. The police officer says, as I opened up the door, said, "Sir," and he had a very concerned tone to his voice, and I said, "Yes." He said, "Sir, your wife last night was in a car accident and she did not survive." And I said, "That's impossible. My wife's in bed with me." He said, "We have a picture of her if you are willing to look at it." And I said, "You're willing to show me a picture of a dead person? This is not my wife. We just need you to verify that this is your wife," the officer said to me. So he hands me the picture, and I look at it, and I say, "That is my wife." And then right there immediately I cringed, because I didn't actually look and see if this woman laying beside me was my wife. I put my finger up and told the officer to hold on just for a minute. I ran upstairs and opened up the door and turned the light on, and there was nobody in the bed. I went into our bathroom that's in our bedroom, and then I went into the bathroom that's in our hallway. I ran downstairs and said there was a woman laid down beside me, and I assumed it was my wife, but nobody's here. The cop said, "I'm going to call for another cop to come out. We're going to take a look at the property, and in the meantime, you sit down." After about 20 minutes, another cop arrived, and they began to search. I'm not doing too good at this very moment in time, and I don't know what I'm going to do. They can't find this lady that was supposedly in my bedroom and nowhere on our land or property, and this picture looks just like my wife. I stand up off the couch, and I ask the officer to look at the picture one more time. He said, "Is everything all right?" I said, "Well, I'll tell you in just a minute. My wife, two things. She has a nose ring, and then secondly, her hair in this picture, it looks to me that's blonde. My wife has got brown hair." The cop said, "Do you have any recent photos of her?" I said, "Sure. I went upstairs and I got my wallet, and I said, this is the most recent picture. And as I was opening my wallet to hand him the picture, my pictures were all gone. And I'm scratching my head, and I said, to myself, I said, where are the pictures at? I went downstairs into the hallway closet, and I looked into getting our picture albums down. And I said, okay, well, there's got to be a picture in here about 6 months old. As I opened it up, there wasn't one picture of my wife in this photo album. He said, sir, we might need you to come in to the police station just so you can calm down and have somebody to talk to. And I, with a very stern voice, and I said, I'm not going nowhere. We're going to get to the bottom of this right now. The police officer said that probably the best thing for you to do, sir, if you're not going to come with us, just sit here and we'll get this thing sorted out right away. Well, let's just say I'm not sure exactly what happened at this point. As I'm sitting in the living room, I can hear a scream. This is a woman, but it doesn't sound like my wife. And I get up, I'll run through the living room into the kitchen, out the back door, and there is a blonde-headed woman getting cuffed on the ground. She's laying on the ground, and the police pick her up to her feet and say, is this your wife? And I said, no, it is not. Where is my wife? I said. And the woman, with a very evil look to her face, and said, you'll never find your wife.